Ice is anything but static. It moves, melts, freezes, changes. Ice acts. Sea ice helps to cool the polar regions by reflecting sunlight into space. It provides a home for mammals such as walruses and polar bears. Sea ice protects the coast from erosion. It releases nutrients into the water and stimulates the growth of plankton. Sea ice contributes to ocean circulation. Ice defines the polar regions, yet that definition is now in crisis because of climate change. This is a story of how ice, one of the many more than human actors on our planet Earth, influences the future of the planet. My name is Sohvi. I work as a researcher at the Arctic Center, University of Lapland. In my research, I examine the role of ice. Ice as an actor in geopolitical debates, ice as an entity with various meanings, and ice as a being in its own right. I've come to think of ice as an active agent because of how it has truly affected the way we have lived over the past few years. Living on a sailboat gives you a different perspective on quite many things, but one of the most important ones is the ocean. I'm not a fish, but I live on the sea with water and ice. We arrived here in Kalaallit Nunaat through the Northwest Passage. The Northwest Passage is a waterway connecting the Pacific and the Atlantic, traversing above North America, located in Inuit Nunangat, the homeland of the Inuit. The Inuit have lived on the land, water and ice long before the idea of northern maritime routes was created. The growing international interest, and also the reason we could sail the Northwest Passage, is the melting ice. The Arctic Ocean ice cover has been diminishing drastically since the recordings began in the 1970s. This year, in 2025, the maximum sea ice cover in March was the smallest ever recorded. Geopolitical imagination, including the utilization of Arctic maritime routes and other so-called possibilities of the Arctic, has been built on the reality of the melting sea ice. However, the ice itself is rarely considered an equal actor, even though all human activities in the Arctic Ocean are still largely defined by ice. When sailing in the north, it is ice that decides the schedule and the route. Ice dictates everything, and its agency becomes tangible. When we could sail, where, and how fast were all questions we didn't have that much say in ourselves, as it was the ice in the form of the ice charts, satellite images, and our visual observation that had the agency to decide those things. Sailing among ice can be thought of through interaction between ice and the human. sometimes the interactions are literal. Sailing in the ice, you cannot fully avoid touching it. One must steer the boat in a manner that takes into account the nature of the ice, the wind, the currents, and the capabilities of the boat to touch the ice only gently. Ice is not static, it offers constant surprises. It's also not always what you expect it to be. Ice doesn't necessarily develop linearly or according to estimations. At some point while sailing the route, ice was completely gone and smoke from the forest fires from mainland Canada had replaced it. Ice comes in many forms and shapes, and it's not only the sea ice, but also glacial ice in the form of icebergs that define the nature of the passage. Icebergs are huge, beautiful yet dangerous. The big ones showed on our radar at night, the small ones didn't.
Okay, here's one that we almost hit.
In the end, ice led us through the Northwest Passage, and now we are here in Kalaallit Nunaat, spending the winter in ice. Saa olla rauhassa siellä sitten. We anchored our boat here in a small fjord in western Greenland, wishing to witness ice in all of its moods. Slowly, ice captured everything around us, and finally, the boat and us were no longer a sea creature, but a creature of ice.
We think that the ice might be strong enough to walk on, and we will give it a try. Sohvi, are you ready to go?
I am, let's go.
Our life settled in with the ice and snow, and the ice slowly thickened. Soon, ice around the boat felt so normal, like we had always been here. Living with ice can also be thought of through interactions. You must listen and communicate with the ice constantly. Locals have told us that one has to feel the ice, one has to know the ice to work with it, to travel, to hunt, to play on the ice. However, what we have also heard again and again during our sails from the people who have lived with the ice for millennia, the Inuit, is that ice cannot be trusted anymore. It forms later and can be unpredictable. In the research project I'm part of, we're trying to imagine alternative futures for the Arctic Ocean. We've developed a concept of Planetocene, the age of the planet. Planetocene is a utopian mindset where the well-being of the planet comes first in all sectors of politics and life, and the interests and needs of more than human actors are fully recognized and taken into account in politics and choices of everyday life. We already have so much data about the effects of climate change in the Arctic, and we know things aren't looking good. What we need now is action. That's why I think the role of Arctic social science is to imagine new solutions and ways of thinking. By looking at the agency of ice, or of any more than human being living in these waters, like fish, the seabed, or even plankton, we can start to see how deeply everything on Earth is connected, including us humans. After all, we are just one of many species on this planet. And maybe that helps us shift our perspective, from seeing things only through a human lens to starting to think more from the planet's point of view. The melting of the ice is an ecological and cultural catastrophe for the creatures that depend on it. It is also a tragedy for the ice itself. Ice has the right to exist. Ice doesn't disappear, it just changes its form, from solid to liquid. Ice is a reminder that one doesn't have to stick with the idea of oneself. As a society, we can also change. As the days grew longer and the sun didn't set anymore, the ice also loosened its grip on us. And our boat became free again. See you later, ice.